You're giving opportunities back to biological males. Just say trans women. That's literally just like the biggest red flag for that you're a trans woman if you have to call a trans woman a biological man or a biological male. We all know that trans women are biologically male. You don't have to, you're exposing yourself. Hi everyone, it's Samantha Lux. Welcome back to my channel. First of all, Happy New Year. Happy 2023. I hope you guys had so much fun on New Year's Eve. I hope you were safe. I hope you had a great time. I do have a cute little New Year's Eve dress on, even though it's no longer New Year's Eve for me, but I want to show it to you because it's so cute. Look how cute. This is like, so I'm like crouching over right now. I can't get like a good angle of this, but it's so cute. Okay, anyways, but yes, happy 2023. Who's excited? I'm excited for 2022 to be over. That's all I know. The conversation between feminists nowadays is intense, to say the least. You know, you have trans-inclusive feminists, you have intersectional feminists, then you might have the gender-critical feminists who, of course, have a very different perception and interpretation of feminism. There's lots of different opinions, I'll just say that. The media company Vice makes videos titled Vice Debates, where they have groups from opposing perspectives come on and debate their ideas. And last week they uploaded an episode titled Anti and Pro-Feminists Debate Abortion, Trans Rights, and #MeToo. But even if you don't recognize these faces, this video is just hilarious, girl. You know, sometimes you watch these videos and you're like, I wish I was there. I wish, you know, somebody had said this. Not this time. I mean, there were some things that should have been said, but for the most part, I feel like it was a good discussion. For today's video, we're going to be reacting to this Vice Debates video. I'm going to give you guys my opinions, all that kind of stuff, of course. And yeah, we're going to giggle at some of these self-proclaimed anti-feminists. I post new videos twice a week here on my channel, so if you guys are not yet subscribed, go ahead and do that right now. Go ahead. I'll wait for you. Are you done? Thank you very much. Make sure to follow me over on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all those different places to keep us up to date with me as possible. And yeah, with no further ado, let's get right into today's video. So like I said, this video is titled Anti and Pro-Feminists Debate Abortion, Trans Rights, and #MeToo. Now this video is 44 minutes long, so we're not gonna be watching the whole thing. I think we're going to just watch the trans rights section because, I mean, I don't know why. Why would I do such a thing? Before what we were about to watch happened, they talked about what their idea of feminism was. They talked a little bit about being pro-choice versus pro-life. There was definitely some good conversation happening, so definitely check out the original video if you guys have not already seen it. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and skip ahead and start at the trans conversation.
I want to talk about transgender issues. Should trans women be included in feminist conversations? How about in women's spaces?
Yes, they're women.
Okay, so to me, feminism is just equality between the sexes. So I feel like this question is kind of weird because like it's not like you can only talk about women with a traditional understanding of feminism. Feminism is for everybody. If you were truly a feminist by definition, you would be worried about men's rights and the rights of people who aren't women.
How about in women's spaces?
Yes, they're women. What's the question?
Me, what's the question? Come again? Where's the question mark here?
Pearl, I
Trans
see your
women
hand.
are women.
I lied. She said trans women are women. I mean, I will say, this is not a great argument. It just leaves so many holes for the opposition to come back to that. Like, yes, trans women being women should be the end of the debate, whatever, but it's not. It's just not. So you gotta go farther than that. But we love an ally.
I want to come at this from the position of an athlete.
Oh, Jesus.
So I play semi-pro basketball, semi-pro volleyball. So when it comes to
Okay, first of all, I've seen this girl before. Miss Pearl, where have I seen you, girl? Let's check it out. Yes, this is Pearl from TikTok. So this is this girl from TikTok, justpearlythings.5. She has been going a little bit viral on TikTok recently because of her very like anti-woman perspectives, opinions, whatever.
Top of that, how can we say we were disadvantaged before when we didn't have to fight in wars? The men were the ones that had to go fight in wars. We'll say my body, my choice all day, but we'll never talk about their body, their choice when they get drafted. Women, the majority of women didn't even want the right to vote because it came with the responsibility of getting drafted. So most girls are like, I'm gonna chill in the kitchen. And I absolutely would chill in the kitchen if that was the same thing today.
The point is, none of us in here can be considered traditional women. And back then, an average guy could get a traditional woman. And now what does he get? He gets a boss bitch, a boss babe, a girl that's been ran through. He gets an ex-hoe. He gets a born-again virgin. Like,
what do
this
I
is,
get?
as women,
Yeah.
this is what do we get? We still get protection and provisioning.
Yeah, she's a very interesting character. She reminds me of that woman that I made a video on a while back, the men's rights activist. She really comes off as like a pick-me girl. If you don't know what a pick-me girl is, it's the girl that's like, I'm different than other girls. Like, I mean, I don't know how to describe a pick-me girl, but it's basically just like a girl that repeats these problematic talking points from men to seem more appealing to those men. Basically, pick-me girls would be like, girls are dumb. I get it. I know. We're just less smart than men. We just need men. Something along those lines. I don't really know.
So when it comes to like athletic spaces, I don't think that trans women should be allowed into athletic spaces because I don't think it's a fair, I think as female athletes, we work so incredibly hard for the little opportunity.
Oh my God, she wanted to talk about this so badly. She couldn't even wait for like the person doing the whole interview to ask about trans sports. She's just like, you know, my thing is, as an athlete, I don't like the trans people playing sports with me. They're too close. Back it up. To me, this question of do women belong in women's spaces when we're talking about feminism and stuff like that, like, just wait for the trans sports thing. Like, that's a different conversation. The fact of the matter is a lot of the issues that women face in society nowadays, trans women face as well. Issues like domestic violence, discrimination in the workplace, sexism in the workplace, stuff like that. Those are things that all women experience. And I think that when we're trying to have conversations about these issues, it's important to really fully encapsulate the perspectives from all sides. Really listen to what everybody's story is, because everybody is going to have obviously a different story. Because then when you're drafting solutions to these problems that everybody face, the solutions don't apply to everybody that's experiencing the problems because you didn't listen to them. You don't know what's going on with them. So yeah, that's my opinion on whether or not trans women should be allowed to participate in these conversations about women's rights. But like I said, I think the trans sports thing is a little bit of a different conversation. So we'll hear him out. We'll let him cook.
Like this, there's no barrier. There's less opportunity in some industries.
That's what
one
a
of them.
barrier is.
There's less. It's not. No. It's
That's
based
what
on the.
First, okay, I just have to mention this. Pearl was like, oh, men and women have the same amount of rights. You can do whatever you want as a woman. There's no barriers to opportunities. There's nothing standing in your way. You are fully equal, blah, blah, blah. And then she's complaining about how there's less opportunities for women in sports and blah, 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 and they're taking away our opportunities. I thought you could do whatever you want, Miss Pearl. Miss Pearl, I thought that you were fine. Is that her thing where she like wears pearls because her name is Pearl? Also, all that I think of when I say her name is Pearl Krabs. Like Mr. Krabs' daughter. That's just, I don't know. It's just the name, I think.
Hold on, guys.
Okay, so again, we work very hard for the little opportunity there is in the space because we're not as entertaining as the men. Sorry, we're just not.
This is what I meant when I said that she was a pick-me. She's like, we just suck. People just don't like us. Girls are lame. You like me? Right, Jeff? That girl, stand up. What are you doing?
And so it's like you're going to take the little opportunity that we're given. And the problem is, like, we can't compete. We can't.
I hate this language around taking opportunities from cisgender women, especially when it comes to sports, because like that's just how competitive sports work. Some people win and some people lose. Some people get the opportunity and some people don't. You're not taking somebody's opportunity when you beat them in a sport. It's just silly. She's using these words very purposely to make us seem predatory and like we're coming and taking something away from cis women when in reality, like, they were just better than you, Pearl. I'm sorry.
We can't compete. We can't. Like, I'm 6 foot. If I go up against a 6 foot guy and I play basketball with him, he's gonna body me.
And what?
Pearl, I'm literally like 5'7". Let's do a little height comparison, Miss Pearl. Let's have an arm wrestle. Usually when I say I want to arm wrestle someone, it's like, oh, I could take you, I could beat you, I swear. I am not beating anybody in an arm wrestle. I am not beating you, Miss Pearl. But when she says that like, oh, cis women just can't compete against trans women, they just can't do it. Girl, they've been doing it. Y'all have been. Cis women have been competing against trans women for quite a while now, and they've been doing very, very well. I say this all the time in my trans sports videos, whatever. Trans women have been allowed to compete in sports following certain guidelines for years. Years and years and years and years and years and years and years. We're by no means dominating the competition. Cis women beat trans women all the time, like 99% of the time, I would say, in these competitive sports. This whole cis woman just can't beat a trans woman. It's just not physically possible. It's just not right. It's incorrect.
Even if I have years more of training. And so it's like you're taking away the little opportunity that we're given and we all work so hard for. And you're just giving it back to biological guys.
Okay. I hate this. I feel like transphobes really think that trans women just like transition one day and just walk into a sport and just decide they're gonna take home a trophy just because it'll be fun. These trans athletes, just as much as Pearl is, just as much as other professional athletes are, they've trained for years and years of their life, the same as everybody else has. They're just as deserving of these titles as any cisgender woman. Again, it's just this very strategic language to try to make trans women seem predatory, like literally coming after cis women's rights and opportunities, which is just not happening.
Be the end of women's sports.
The language though, like you really just have to listen to 2 sentences from this woman and you already know everything that she thinks. You're giving opportunities back to biological males. Just say trans woman. That's literally just like the biggest red flag for that you're a transphobe if you have to call a trans woman a biological man or a biological male. We all know that trans women are biologically male. You don't have to, you're exposing yourself. Second of all, this is the end of women's sports. No, it's not. If it was, honestly, who cares? I don't like any sports. I'm not saying that just because it's women's sports. I would cancel men's sports too. Again, though, it's just not the end of women's sports. If it was the end of women's sports would have been ended 10, 15 years ago when trans women started being allowed to compete. So again, you're wrong, Miss Pearl.
Have you tried confidence?
Eli, hold on, Minnie.
Sorry,
Eli.
confidence can't make me bench what a guy benches.
I don't
Confidence can't
understand why
make me
you guys
6'7".
are so hostile. She's sharing her
And confidence
experience
can't make
in
me
a
6'7".
specific
No, she's
field.
sharing
And
trans
I'd have to
misogyny.
go.
No, that's misogyny. That's misogyny, sweetheart. Okay, so now we're going to hear from our little guests. So this is Eli. Actually, I've mentioned her in a video before. She's a trans activist. We stan Eli. And then this other woman.
You guys are so obsessed with your own experiences and your own existence, and yet when a woman is sitting here telling you, I feel as though this is unfair and this is compromising and this situation is not helping women, you guys are like, meh, meh, meh. But when you're like, I'm a black person that did this, 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 and this, then it's valid and fair and viable.
Sydney Watson is a YouTuber who I didn't recognize when I first watched this video, but then I was like pulling this video up and I just saw. She is a pretty popular YouTuber with a lot of videos on the woke mob and woke mentality and trans groomers and oh my, all of this crazy stuff. Trans away the gay. The new conversion therapy. This is happening to kids and it's bad. Who needs mothers? Uterus transplants incoming. This university is hiding the creepiest, darkest little secret, talking about John Hopkins Groomer Central, which is like a gender clinic. Radical leftist teachers need to be stopped. Like, it's just very clear. Like, we get it. We see you. You've been heard. But of course, here she is chiming in saying, it's just her opinion. She just says that you guys are trash and that you're men and that you should go to jail. That's her opinion. She didn't really say that, I guess, but she's saying you're shutting down a woman's lived experiences and you're not listening to her opinions and blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares. I don't care about this girl's opinion. I really don't. I simply could not care less. When it comes to this trans sports conversation, the only opinions that I care about are the professionals' opinions. Not Miss Pearl. The people that are actually out here examining the different ways that HRT affects trans women's athletic performance, those are the people that I want to hear from. Not the infamous transphobes that just hate us. So when people throw out these words like biological male and that it's the end of women's sports, we've heard all of these before. They are these transphobic, right-wing, fear-mongering talking points that are being pushed to make the trans community look like evil people because they know that fear is one of the best motivating forces.
So this is basically a joke of a talking point. Everyone has biological advantages in sports. How tall are you?
5'11" and a half.
Cut the cameras. Cut the cameras. Eli. Oh my God, I would have lost it. I would have lost my That was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my whole entire life. Everybody has biological advantages. How tall are you, Miss Pearl? Let me see the man hands, Pearl. I'm just kidding. That was a joke. She doesn't have man hands. That was just a joke. I'm kidding. If anybody has man hands, girl. Just kidding. Not me either. I love that she called this out because, like I was saying, like there's just things that you wish somebody would say and they never do, but she said it. Pearl is literally a 6 foot tall cisgender woman complaining about biological advantage in sport. She's saying, I could never be as tall as a cisgender man. Let's ask the audience. Well, how tall is the average cisgender man? Let's Google it. I'm not Googling it. It's like 5'7", 5'8". Like, you're tall, which we love. We love tall people. I'm 5'8".
Yeah, I'm 5'8". Mm-hmm. I am a trans woman. You would crush me. You would absolutely crush me.
Bone density, wrist strength, muscle density.
Yeah. Okay. Bone density, wrist strength. Like, okay, slay, go off. Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Bone density aside, you're still gonna beat me.
Density, you can't switch those.
Yeah, exactly. You would crush me.
But also, Eli, you would never play at the level that Pearl plays because you would never get there.
So let me give you.
What does that have to do with anything, this girl? This Sydney woman. You're not a professional athlete, so obviously you would lose. Yeah, that's the point.
A few more examples here too. So Michael Phelps produced more lactic acid in his body, which caused him to swim better than any of his competitors.
Her face, she's like, who the is Michael Phelps?
This was widely celebrated, and nobody contested it. Now, this is a performance-enhancing hormone. So we all have different bodies. And now I'm not saying—
As you can see them just like the gears starting like, God. Like, how am I gonna respond to this one?
that trans women who aren't on hormones should participate, but there are, I mean, every major medical and every major sports organization agrees that trans women who have been on hormones for between 1 and 3 years, depending on the organization, have the same competitive abilities.
The study that you're referencing had like 7 people participated.
That's misinformation, by the way. I'm referencing several different studies. I'm a trans woman and a researcher.
It's getting personal.
I'm like getting heated. I can tell exactly where on Twitter this Sydney woman lives. That was only 7 people in that study. Girl, there's many studies.
It's getting personal. I don't want it to be personal.
A lot of us live in this space where we're told that our opinions don't count because they're not the right kind of opinions. And we're constantly shouted over and talked over, regardless of what we look like, because there's one group in society that basically takes—
My brain hurts. I'm like trying to piece together like how her thought processes work. I need a roadmap, a brain map, if you will. My opinion is being spoken over. Yeah, nobody cares. I feel like somebody like you watches Ben Shapiro, so don't you know that facts don't care about your feelings? You can't come back to somebody providing studies and evidence and data and all this like science, this actual legit data. You can't take that and be like, well, in my opinion, like, it's just, they were born a boy, so their chest hair is a little bit thicker. Like, you don't even know what you're talking about. It's just very funny to me that transphobes think that they know everything, especially when it comes to, like, trans issues. They're like, yeah, no, I know better than the Olympic Committee. I know better than the sports science organizations that have studied this, and, you know, oh my God, my nail just broke. That hurts so bad. Are you kidding me? I don't want to make this video anymore. She's a dumb. My nail said, I'm out.
Because there's one group in society that basically takes precedence, and it's frustrating. So yeah, of course, it's—
Imagine saying that trans people are the ones that are taking precedence right now.
It's frustrating.
Literally me, girls.
When we try to talk about it, we get shouted down, we get told to be quiet, we get spoken down too as well.
Okay. So, as you should. As you should. Yeah, you say some dumb things, I'm gonna say a dumb response. Like,
there's hostility there for plenty of women.
Let's try to make—
She's like, you guys are being so hostile and so mean to me. Like, why are you being so mean? And then 5 seconds earlier, she's like, you're a biological man. You're never gonna be a woman. Your father hates you.
Make this an opportunity to speak.
You're literally a white woman from Australia. You live in a bubble and you're pissed that voices that have been silenced forever finally can be heard.
That's why they have the voice, because they speak up.
Okay, we're having a conversation about—
I love her. I like her. Shout out to you, girl.
Transgender women participating in sports, and I wanted to allow more people to participate. Jordan, I wanted to hear from you.
So I am not a professional athlete. The closest thing I have ever done to anything athletic was I used to do competitive show choir when I was younger. And I don't feel really qualified to make carte blanche statements about whether or not trans women should compete in every kind of sport. And I understand that that is kind of, that's a hard pill to swallow. And for me, my first inclination is to approach everything through a lens of inclusivity. But at the same time, I also can't speak accurately to every kind of sport and the different things that go into it. So I really think in these instances, the decisions are best left up to the professional governing bodies that dictate these particular sports.
Yes, perfectly said. I like Jordan too. You can have your opinions, you can have your beliefs, you can have your ideas, whatever, but at the end of the day, who are you? Who am I? You know what I mean? What do we know? Unless you're really out here studying the ways that these chemicals are interacting with other chemicals and how the body works and stuff like that. Like, I agree that we're really not qualified to be making these claims of whether or not trans women should or shouldn't be allowed to compete. Because of course, while being inclusive is super, super important, fairness is important as well. That being said, if the professionals say it's fair, that's good enough for me.
In places, as an ally, in places where there's no understanding, we can just respect and not really
Like, our opinions don't fucking matter.
Eli, I saw you nodding your head over there.
Several times. This is more than about sports. This is about free and equal participation for transgender people in social life. And the right sees this as a socially acceptable way to begin to remove trans people from different engagements in our society. So it does just start with sports or bathrooms or locker rooms, something that they find is more acceptable. And then at this point, they started to move into education, getting trans teachers fired, banning trans books. This is a route that is very effective because it's seen as more acceptable. But it's also overlooking a lot of major details. Like, I mean, do y'all know how many trans women have won national titles?
One too many.
One. It's Leah Thomas's.
Did you see that part? Bro, look, she's like, I don't know how many. How many is it gonna be? And then Eli put up one finger. And Pro goes, one too many. It may be one, but that's one enough for me. Even one trans is too many. How is this one trans person is gonna be the end of women's sports, as you've claimed? Wow, she must be pretty good.
If women's sports were actually going to end in some way, I mean, it's just not happening. Wouldn't you think there would be more trans women in sports when the majority of states do allow trans women full participation? International titles, 0. No global titles have ever been won by a trans woman.
I love how the anti-feminists are just sitting there like, who invited this with the data? God. Who invited this that knew what she was talking about? Ugh, so annoyed. I mean, I would be annoyed too if I was getting read to filth. I don't know. Proven wrong? Made to look like a dummy? Like I've been saying, I'm so glad that Vice actually had a pretty diverse group of people for this panel. They had a few people on there that I really, really agreed with and were very well spoken. And I really, really appreciated that because there's nothing more frustrating than watching one of these videos and having your perspectives not represented. So yeah, it's cool that my perspective was there. Was yours? I don't care. No, I'm just kidding. What do you guys think about this conversation? Do you think that trans women should be included in the discussion of feminism? Do you think that trans women should be allowed to play sports? What do you guys think? Answer the questions down below. If you guys like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up down below. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already and you would like to be. And yeah, other than that, I think I'm going to go. So thank you all so much for watching. Happy New Year. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.